Hello, my name is Jason Mallard. I'm an extension agent here in Screven County, and we're in a wheat field in Screven County. During this time of the year, we often get questions of how is our wheat crop progressing? Is it coming along tillering as it should so that we can produce an optimal yield? Tillers produced in the fall generally are going to produce the most um, grain per unit area. This can be as much as 80% of our total yield. The tiller count is influenced by seeding rate, moisture, fertility, temperature, and often variety. Nitrogen rates and timing of application are key management factors that help us to achieve good yields. Late January in South Georgia is time to begin counting tillers, seeing where we're at, and seeing if an additional late January, early February application of nitrogen will help us to get our tiller count to where it needs to be. Demand for nitrogen is relatively low in the fall, but it rapidly increases in the spring right before stem elongation. Timing of nitrogen fertilizer should be based on the pattern of the uptake of the crop. Applying nitrogen in the fall is critical to encourage good tiller production prior to the onset of winter, but it's very important that we don't put out too much nitrogen in the fall, because therefore we can cause excessive growth and can result in winter injury. So at this point, we want to start moving towards looking how to take these tiller counts.
My name is Blake Carter. I'm the F&M County Ag and Natural Resources Agent, and today I want to talk to you about taking a tiller count of your wheat. So when we start talking about taking a tiller count, we want to do this at random. So what does at random mean? Well, it means different things to different people. It could mean that you go to random spots in the field just by going down a row and just picking an area, or there's a technique where you take this nice here yardstick and you just fling it into the field, and wherever it lands, that's where you're going to go to take your count. And we're going to do this about 10 to 15 times per field.
As we begin to make tiller counts, we need to take row width into consideration, as square foot may not match our row width. For example, the picture on the right shows an example of how the square foot in a field does not always match our row widths. The chart on the left gives us row length for given row widths to count only one row. For example, if row width on your planter is set up for 7 inches, you'd want to count tillers in an area of 20.6 inches. As we move to the plant itself, this drawing shows us how the wheat plant develops. Between the first leaf and the main stem of the plant, we see the first tiller, and between the second leaf and the main stem, the second tiller. This can continue according to the plant's health. During initial development, the tiller is dependent upon the main shoot for nutrition, but once the tiller develops approximately 3 or more leaves, it is becoming independent of the parent plant for nutrition and will form its own roots.
The chart on the left is from the UGA Wheat Production Guide. This chart gives us an idea of how to adjust that late January nitrogen application based on the tiller counts for fields planted during normal planting times. When the wheat crop reaches that growth stage 25, begin counting tillers to determine the need for the additional nitrogen applications for the needed tiller production. With counting tillers, we really need to see 2 to 3 leaves per tiller, as these will be the tillers which will probably fully develop. Many times smaller tillers will abort as the season progresses. If the developed tillers are low, then we're talking 80 tillers per square foot or less, then nitrogen applications at this time are critical for improving the yield potential of the crop. If the tiller count exceeds 100 or more per square foot at this growth stage 25, then apply all remaining nitrogen at or just before GS 30, which is stem elongation time. On the right, you see the total nitrogen needed for the year according to the yield goal. You will want to apply all other needed nitrogen at growth stage 30, which is stem elongation. If other nutrients or plant needs are not met, this will limit the benefit of the additional nitrogen application. Again, all this is summarized within the UGA Wheat Production Guide. We hope you've enjoyed this row crop update being brought to you by Screven County Extension and Effingham County Extension. If UGA Extension can be of any assistance to you, please contact your local county agent.